Joining us now on the John Fredericks Radio Network is Rich Breeden. Now, we got to figure this one out. Rich is running for state senate, and he's running in a primary against Bryce Reeves. Now, Reeves is expected to have a tough fight. This Senate district is centered in kind of the Fredericksburg, Staunton area. I'm going to go over this with Rich. And it's kind of odd because Bryce Reeves ran for lieutenant governor in 2017, finished second to Joe Vogel, made the race very close, though, and almost beat her. And then, of course, Joe Vogel went on to lose to the current lieutenant governor, Justin Fairfax, who has his own set of issues now. So this expected to be a very tight race in the fall. The Democrats targeting this. So let's find out from Rich Breeden why he's challenging Bryce Reeves in a primary. Rich, you're on the air.
Good morning, John. Thanks for having me on.
So why are you, this Senate seat is competitive. Reeves won it the first time in 2011 by a couple hundred votes. Had a tough fight to get reelected in 2015. The Democrats are targeting this seat. Why are you running against Reeves in a primary?
Well, many of our friends and neighbors here in the 17th district are highly disappointed with the quality of the representation that we have and are getting currently from my opponent. We never see him until it's time for an election. He's in the back pocket of special interests, and he's using the position to run for other offices. And people really want and need representation here back in the district that represents our interests and not use the people's seat, the state Senate seat, as someone's fallback plan. And that's what a lot of people have asked me over the past year and a half, if I would consider doing this. And after a lot of thought and prayer and talk to a lot of folks, it seemed like now is the time. And, yeah, this seat, as are many seats, especially now that we've had some Republicans retire and get out of politics, we have a lot of seats up for grabs, not just the one here in the 17th, like my opponent is trying to tell everyone here that the whole state Senate really rests here in the 17th. There's a lot of seats up for grabs. I mean, you've talked to a few folks down in the Southwest, and they've got a nice little interesting race, I guess, there as well, depending on how that turns out in their they have a firehouse primary down there in the 40th, if I remember correctly.
Well, look. I mean, that is first of all, the Southwest Virginia thing is a complete rig job with Bill Carrigo and Scott Pillion, and they should be embarrassed for what they did. I've called them out on it. Pillion is going to win. The whole thing is rigged. And this is the stuff that I have to call Republicans out on. And I keep saying over and over, until Republicans stand up to this stuff and say we need an open and fair nominating process, it is going to continue to go on and tar and feather the party and turn it into something it isn't. So that's why I was so adamantly, I was appalled by what Senator Carrico did. Now, you got the same thing going on now in a House district here in Hanover and New Kent with the Scott Wyatt challenge to Chris Peace. Wyatt, the committee chairman of the Hanover Republican Party, influencing first the way the nominating process would go, going from a primary to a convention, which would favor then a Hanover candidate. He's a Hanover supervisor, doesn't tell anybody that except for his cronies, that once it's a convention, then he's going to flip and challenge Peace, gets the convention, then he announces his candidacy to challenge Peace only because he changed it to a nominating convention in lieu of a primary. This is a shenanigans that just has to stop. And Republicans are at the headwinds of it. So, look, let's go to your race, Rich. You're running against Reeves, and you just said that he's in the back pocket of special interests. Give me some specific examples of special interests that you think he's in the back pocket of.
Well, two that come up when I knock doors and I talk to friends and neighbors here is a lot of the Dominion trips that he has taken in the past overseas. They're not too happy about that. And I'll use one from the last session that got a lot of people here in the district a little upset. And as a Liberty guy, I don't understand that. And that was his sponsoring of legislation to raise the age of purchasing tobacco to 21, especially since no one here in the district really asked for that. He, in a message back and forth that was posted on Facebook, had told someone, I don't think he's in our district, but had told someone that the reason he sponsored that is because Altura wanted him to carry that legislation. So it's things like that that doesn't really help us too much here in the district. People want, I think I heard you say this yesterday. People want good jobs. They want to know what's going to do here, and messing around with do we or do we not raise purchasing the tobacco age to 21 is just it didn't make sense to a lot of people that I have personally talked to and been invited into their homes, getting out telling people here's who I am and why I'm doing this. The other thing that I'll throw out there as well is you kind of pointed out, with all of the shenanigans, is what I'll call them, that the Republican Party is doing. Obviously, and why I'm on your show today is the fact that my opponent threatened to sue me, as he did with Jill Vogel. And I think people are really tired of career politicians using intimidation tactics to try to maintain power. I'm an Air Force vet, federal agent. I've looked at a butt of the gun barrel pointed in front of my face, and I'm not going to be intimidated by someone who tries to use that position of power to maintain it for whatever the end game is. Real people in the real world, when they have a problem, they sit down, they try to talk to them, they just ignore them, but you don't just threaten to sue someone. And it's those things that have really gotten a lot of people here in the 17th really upset with our current state senator.
You're on the John Fredericks Radio Network. We are chatting with Rich Breeden. He is a candidate for state senate for the Republican nomination in District 17. This is an open process, unlike the Chris Peace race and the Bill Carrico scam job in Southwest Virginia. This will be decided in a primary on June 12th. Now, Rich, let's get to some of the things that you said. First of all, you're an Air Force veteran. I appreciate the service to the United States and to all of us. Thanks for that. You said that he's threatened to sue you. You filed for state senate as a candidate in a primary. That's legitimate. People should be able to decide who they want their nominee to be. Based on your filing and getting signatures, why would he threaten to sue you over what?
Well, after we filed the petitions, I asked if he had a few minutes. I had a couple questions a question I wanted to ask him and just basically wish him good luck. The question that I wanted to ask him goes with the rumor that he also is considering running for the congressional seat. He told me no. And then before I can say, well, good luck, and we'll take it out and show our visions to our community and see who gets voted in, he pretty much just launched in that if I continue to talk about his personal affairs and that on the campaign, that he's going to sue me and that kind of deal. What he was referring to was a private conversation that was overheard. It was only one time. I'm not campaigning on that. I could care less about his personal affairs. That's between him and his family and the good Lord upstairs. But when you continue to try to intimidate and bully someone, I got a problem with that. And like you said, we are in a democracy, and anybody can run for whatever office he or she wishes.
Right.
And I think that's what I'm campaigning on. I'm campaigning on why I'm different, how I can use my business experience and try to help our district here. And I really don't care about that. So if you want more of that, I guess you'll have to see if he'll come on your show and he can talk about
Well,
that.
I did invite him on. He said he was tied up. I'm sure he'll come on when they decide to schedule him on. But let me just ask you this. So he threatened to sue you, but he didn't sue you, right? So this is no different, though, than getting a letter from a lawyer saying, cease and desist. So if you were overheard talking negatively out of school about his family affairs, then this would be no different than if you got a cease and desist letter, which lawyers do all the time for that exact reason. So I'm not sure the threat of suing you is really a real issue. I mean, obviously, he said, put you on notice that if you continue to spread the rumor mill about his family, that he's going to take action. I don't think that's weird. And as far as the Vogel race and what he did there, I mean, I've kind of forgotten about that. So I'm not sure where you're going with that. But let me just ask you this, Rich. You gave me two reasons why you're running against him. Dominion trips. Okay, so Dominion Energy is our energy producer here, and there's a lot going on with nuclear power and solar and some of the things they're trying to do. And so maybe he went on trips with them to investigate certain things that they're trying to do and get more information. I don't know the details of that, but certainly isn't anything that I'm going to lose sleep over. And then you said you're running against him because he sponsored raising the smoking age to 21. Well, I'm a father. I'm 61. I'm in favor of that. Anything that can stop kids from smoking or vaping at 18, I'm in favor of. Now, maybe you're on the liberty end where anything goes and let's legalize prostitution, all that. I'm not in favor of that stuff. So, am I going to get fired up because Bryce Reeves sponsored or co-sponsored a bill to raise the smoking vaping age to 21 that was also backed by Kirk Cox, the Speaker of the House? I mean, is that like a reason to topple him? I mean, you got to have more than that, Rich.
Well, no, and I think it's also the vision of where we're going, and I'm not for prostitution either. I mean, that's I know my opponent tries to paint me as far right. I'm not that at all, nor am I far towards where you were going with that as well. Where I offer and what I am offering folks and what we're getting a lot of momentum is bringing my business expertise in, what I know about cyber and those kind of things. You asked for a couple of examples, and I gave you two that people give me when I knock on doors and I talk to them. What I'm campaigning on, what my platform is about, is redistricting reform, which I would think that my opponent would be for, and I don't think he is.
Wait, Rich, wait. I'm sorry, man. He voted. The state Senate voted 40-0 for the Virginia 1 redistricting plan that would turn redistricting over to 5 citizens, 5 Republicans, and 5 Democrats in order to get rid of gerrymandering. He voted for that because every senator voted for that, and that's going to likely be a constitutional amendment on the ballot in November of 2020. So to say he's not for that when he voted in favor of it, I don't see that argument either, man.
I mean, it took them a while to get to that point, and the one Virginia 21 plan was for 9, not 12. This what was done was the coal compromise, if you will, and that's where we got to the 12. But it took him a while to get there, much like it took him a while here with the local issue, because you brought up renewables, with the solar facility that's going out by the neighborhood that he lives in. He was for solar and sponsoring and voting that way, and it's easy to vote in a certain way when you're in the majority. You don't have the hard votes. But now he has flipped and said that he's against solar, especially the project that's going out there. So those issues are really confusing to the voters here, and that's what I'm hearing when I'm knocking on doors and when I'm talking to our friends and neighbors here across the district, not just here in Spotsylvania or Fredericksburg, but down in Orange and Culpeper and down in Albemarle. And those are things that people want to talk about, as are term limits, campaign finance transparency, which he is not for, and then doing some kind of campaign finance reforms to take money out of the political arena, especially at the state level, because people realize that we're playing in the Wild Wild West rules here, and whoever donates the bigger check is going to be heard versus somebody who writes you a $25 check or something like that, and they're really tired of that. That is what I'm hearing when I'm out talking to folks. The other thing that I'm talking to them about is using my expertise and what I do for the government in cyber and how that is going to impact not just personal privacy, but how that's going to shape our economy in the next 5 to 10 years and what that means for jobs. We've got a lot of problems that are coming, and there's hardly anyone that I can think of in the General Assembly today that has the background with emerging revolutionary technologies, especially in the cyber arena, as I do. And those are things that people want to hear about, and that's what we've been talking and campaigning on.
All right, so Rich Breeden, by the way, Rich is with us now. Rich Breeden is a candidate for the State Senate of Virginia in District 17. He's running in a primary to defeat Bryce Reeves for the nomination. That'll be decided in a primary on June 12th in the 17th district.
June 11th.
June 11th. What did I get? What did I say? 12th? Sorry about that.
12th.
June 11th.
12th is
June 11th. Got it.
June 11th.
Yes, June 11th. So, but it sounds like your campaign is not really ideological based here, other than raising the smoking age to 21, which I don't think is really an issue that you're going to beat him on. It sounds like it's more procedural things. This is the Wild West. Get money out. You don't trust him on redistricting. He took him a while to get there, but he did get there. I mean, I don't know, Rich. You got a two-term incumbent senator with a lot of money in the bank that's run a statewide campaign that was a pretty formidable campaign. He almost won, and I'm just not sure what you're giving me right now. There's enough meat. There's just not enough. I don't see enough meat on the bone. I mean, I'm not criticizing your campaign. You've got every right to run. All right. I encourage people to run in to be the nominee. So I congratulate you on that. Just as an observer, I don't think you got enough meat on the bone here.
Well, I think we do. I mean, we're getting a lot of positive support, and it's been this week alone has been really interesting. But I have to disagree with you a little bit there. Where we got the meat on the bone is people want a voice and people want to be represented. We know that Bryce has been up and talked to the NRCC several times, and he's looking at the next office. And I think with the challenges that we have coming in this next 4 years, people need a steady voice, and they need somebody who's there. The other thing is, my opponent asked for 2 terms, and we gave him 2 terms, and now he's seeking the 3rd. It's those things that people remember, and those are the things that have gotten everyone a little upset as to who really is going to represent us in the state Senate to be that constant voice, and that's what we're offering.
Rich, I got to take off, but do you have him on that record when he was first running in 2011 saying that he would only serve for 2 terms?
I have heard that through several folks, and we're actually looking to see if we actually have that on a tape or on a news clip or something that he has. So as soon as we have that, we'll definitely post that up there. But I have heard this from people who actually was on his campaign that helped him get elected that first time.
All right. Well, look, I'm not convinced that you have enough issues to beat him. But here's what I will say: I congratulate you for putting your hat in the ring, and I also congratulate you for making the effort to hold him accountable and to run a legitimate campaign, which it seems to me that you're trying to do. And so I will be 100% behind your effort. But I just don't think you have enough right now to beat him. Like, if I was a voter right now in your district, I'm not sure that that's anything that would spur me to get Reeves out of office. But that's just me. I got to go. Rich Breeden, thanks for being with us. People want more info on your campaign. Where do they go?
www.richbreeden.com.
You got it. richbreeden.com.